Hello everyone, my name is Matt Stevens, Director of Golf, Blackstone National Golf Club, also golf coach of the NE10 runner-up Assumption Greyhounds. Had a really good year last year, and wanted to talk to you a little bit about some of the fundamentals. Me and Bobby were talking, we thought it was really important that we put a video together. This program was supposed to start back in March. It is now nearing Memorial Day, so we missed some time. We felt a little strange about getting this program moving, but we felt we'd get a video out to kind of describe some of the things that we would have covered inside, and also familiarize you with some of the language that we might be using. Typically in this program, the Get Golf Ready Ladies League, we've put more than 100 women through this program in the last 6 years. Many of them you'll still see out in the Ladies League. They're out there playing, and it's really gratifying for me and Bobby and Pat and the rest of the staff to see how comfortable and competent they have become on the golf course. And we are really eager every year to see them come back, and probably even more eager to welcome 15 to 20 new women into the league every year. Where we usually start is right at the beginning. One of the beautiful things about the beginner league is many of you will come with no bad habits. So I think it's very wise to go out and get some instruction right away, and you know, to learn the proper fundamentals and basics of the game. So we're going to start talking about the club first. There's a lot of different parts of the club, and there's a lot of different clubs that we use. We're allowed to carry 14 clubs in our bag, and you'll see this is called an iron, for obvious reasons. It's got an iron head. This is called a wood, even though they're not made out of wood, but this used to be made out of wood, and you'll see the difference, right? This would be used for driving the ball, and this is used more for yardage control. Also, we have a hybrid, which replaces some of the lower irons in the bag, and it's a more user-friendly club that a lot of golfers are using in recent years. And then we have pitcher wedge clubs, which is designed for around the green. And lastly, the most important club in the bag would be the putter. Okay? On all clubs, you have various parts. Let's start with this iron here. Break it down. The first part of the most important part of the club, and you'll be hearing this terminology all the time from me, is this would be called the face of the club. This is the toe of the club. This is the heel of the club. The bottom part would be called the sole. All of this would be called the shaft, the grip, some people call it the handle, and finally up here we're talking about the butt of the club. The most important part of the face of the club is called the leading edge. We're going to use the leading edge as we progress through our instruction, and we're going to use this to aim the club. The club is designed to sit as it was built. When we set up to the ball, we want to aim the club as if it was going to bounce off the leading edge of the club. Okay? Oftentimes, if we look at the top of the club when aiming, we get the club a little bit closed and the ball is inclined to go left. Okay? So we're going to look at the leading edge of the club. So just a quick review. Usually I'll give away a prize, anybody that remembers all the different parts at this point. We can test ourselves at home right now. But this would be called the toe of the club, the heel of the club, the face, the leading edge of the club. This is the sole, the shaft, the grip, and the butt. Okay, now that we're familiar with the different parts of the club, let's talk about an important feature called loft. Okay? So some clubs are designed to do different things. When we look at this is a 7 iron, you'll notice that it's a little bit longer than this club, which is a wedge. And what you'll find is if I step on it, both the face, and I use the angle of the face of the club, you'll notice that there's a different angle that's built into the club. So oftentimes that we think that we have to do a lot more than we really have to do. Most of it is picking the correct club and learning how to use it as it was built. So this is our wedge. We'll notice that if I step on the face, the handle will stick higher up in the air, which means that there's more of an angle on this club, which will determine that as I hit this ball, the ball will go higher and not quite as far. On the other hand, this club, when I hit it squarely on the face, the ball will go further, but not quite as high. So this will go less angle, will go lower and not as far. Over here, you have more angle, which will provide a higher, lofting, softer landing shot. Okay, so that's the irons, that's the role that the loft will play, or the angle of the club face plays when we're creating shots out on the golf course. All we have to do, and we'll be able to do this relatively soon, is to be able to hit the ball on the center of the club face with some type of consistency. Okay, so those are your irons. Again, this is the wood. This club would be designed to hit off of a tee. You know, when we're trying to drive it out there as far as we can. Most golfers will take out their driver and hit this. I would say that when we watch people hit range balls, the club they're hitting most is the driver, which I think is totally backwards. This is the putter. Now, when we play golf, even the best golfers in the world will shoot between 70 and 64, somewhere in there, shots per round. Out of that amount of shots, the best putters in the world will have 27 to 31 putts. So even with the best golfers in the world, half of their strokes are going to be played with the putter. So one of the things that I will emphasize early and often, and once you're passed on to the intermediate group, they'll reinforce this with you, is that if you want to be a good golfer and you want your scores to come down fast, you want to learn to become a good putter. Okay? So now let's talk about the three things that we're going to cover extensively in the early stages of the beginner league. We're going to talk about, just like in school, we're going to talk about the GPA. Everybody wants to have a really good GPA. Well, in golf instruction, it comes into three things. We're talking about a grip, the posture, and the alignment. So those are the things that we will be covering and working on diligently in the first few weeks of our instruction. So when we talk about the grip, the problem that most golfers have is they put it in their hands like they're chopping wood or driving railroad stakes. Proper way to hold the club is in the fingers. Okay? If we were to throw a baseball, it doesn't come out of the palm. It comes off the tips of the fingers. We want the same thing to hold true in the golf grip. So we want the club in the fingers of the hand. So one of the ways that we teach it, if you put the thumb underneath, we put the club, we hook the fingers around the club, and we just simply point the club away. And what you'll find is that most of my hand is on top of the club. So when we teach the kids, we talk about, we put the hot dog in the bun. So we have the heel of the pad comes up on top of the club. My thumb is up here on the top of the club, which is important because at the top of the swing, it's going to be below supporting it. But if you want to know if you're holding the club properly, you should be able to take every finger off the club except for that one, and you'll see that the club leverages against the heel of the big fatty pad of the hand. Now I have control of the club in the left hand, so I can work it like a hammer. I've got a lot of control in the left hand. Also, Now when we go to put the right hand on, it's almost like the hands were built to hold the golf club. So I've got the left hand in there. Now I simply take the right hand and I take the palm of my right hand, the lifeline, and I'm going to lock that onto the side of my left hand thumb. And I'm going to take my right thumb and place it on my index finger over there. So again, I'm in the fingers. You want them in the fingers. So the thing that you'll notice right away is that the arrows created by my thumb and forefinger point in the same direction. So I'm locked in there. There's not a lot of play. I've simply created one unit out of my two hands that are going to work together and holding this club. So now I have the two arrows pointing in the same direction, so my hands are working parallel and as one unit. I would practice from now until we meet next week, learning how to get my hands on the club properly. The quicker you learn how to do that, the much quicker the improvement will come in your overall ball striking. Okay, so we've covered the grip. Simple. Once again, it's a simple. Get it in the fingers, thumb underneath, point. I'm going to get my hand in that position there. I take my right hand, I lock in my lifeline over the thumb. I get my thumb on my forefinger down here, and I make sure that my hands are working as one by the arrows being consistent. That's a proper golf grip. Okay. Now, the only part of your body that touches the club is your hands. So it's really, really important that we hold the club properly for a lot of different reasons. That's the grip. Now let's move along to posture. Anybody who's played any kind of athletic sports in the past will recognize the athletic position. If you're shooting free throws, you'd get in and you'd be in this position. If you're playing shortstop, you're in this position. If you're waiting in goal, you're in this position. So it's a simple athletic position which would put you with bended knees, weight distributed evenly, and the important thing is you want a neutral spine. You want a neutral spine angle like this. And that's going to give you the balance and the flexibility to transfer the weight and move around that you're going to need over the golf shot. So the way that I think that people should learn what we're talking about, the GPA, the grip, the posture, and the alignment, is through what we call a pre-shot routine. You know, I've given lessons to a lot of people that do dancing and you know, different things like that where they learn by repetition. I think repetition is a great way to learn. You know, and I'll give you one example that I like to apply to golf instruction is driving a standard car. If anybody's ever done that, you can remember how awkward it is at the beginning, but over time it becomes second nature to the point where you don't even need to think about it. If you follow a pre-shot routine before you approach the golf ball, you're going to find that it's the same thing. You're going to get into a good grip, you're going to get into good posture and good alignment without even thinking about it, and that's where we're trying to get to. So we have our grip. We're going to look at the face of the club. We already mentioned that the part of the club that we want to aim is the leading edge. So I have my grip. That's step number one. Two, I'm going to step in with my back foot, my rear foot, and I'm going to aim down my target line and I'm going to rest the leading edge facing my target. So it's always face of the club goes into the shot first. Once I have my club face aimed, I'm now going to build my foundation by bringing my feet in, and I'm going to square my body up around the target line that I've already established. Get here. That should put me in a good posture, a good alignment, and I'm ready to go. 90% of the results are going to be determined by how well you do in setting up over the golf ball. So let's review. A good grip, step, bend, and aim. Aim the club, then bring yourself in and get your good alignment, and you're ready to go. Okay? Grip, posture, and alignment. Once the club starts moving, we're going to be talking about relatively simple things. Grip, posture, alignment. From here, what I want you to focus on initially is just simply taking the toe of the club, turning your left shoulder under your chin here, keeping the toe up. And then when we go to strike, we want to do the opposite. We want our right shoulder to come under the chin to toe up. So it's left shoulder under, right shoulder under. If you practice these things between now and next week, the grip, the posture, the alignment, and the movement of the club toe up to toe up, you'll find that a lot of the things that you're doing with your body will be correct when you show up for your first get-together. That should cover a little bit of what we've talked about that we would have covered on the indoors. That'll give you a head start into next week. Just talking about this stuff, me and Bobby are getting excited about having you in here. It's one of our favorite things to do every year is to bring in our ladies league and try to develop their games. We're really looking forward to it this year. It's been a rough start. Next week we'll adhere to all the guidelines. It might look a little funny with everybody in gloves and masks, but before it's over, I know we can get the job done. We can have a lot of fun, and we can have a great time here at Blackstone National. By all accounts, we're not far away from golf carts, and it looks like that we may have food and beverage as early as June 8th. So the golf course is in great shape. We're all rested and ready to go. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. You have my cell phone on the email I sent out earlier, and you also have my cell phone there as well. I'm at my desk 5 days a week, and I'm on the golf course 1 day a week, so I'm not hard to reach. Thanks again. I look forward to seeing you. If you have any questions, feel free to contact any one of our golf professionals at Blackstone National. Thank you.